Good morning. It's good to be with you on this Monday morning. It's great to be together as we continue in our time in Zechariah. Hope you had a great weekend. We did at St. Matthew's. We had our patriotic musical yesterday, and it's always a gift to see our choir and our musicians. I'm a little partial to one of the clarinetists. My daughter Sarah plays in the orchestra, and we have this, and of course my wife's in the choir. So it's always good to see them up there leading. It's a real gift that I get to experience through that. Today we're going to continue with Zechariah chapter 10. We'll read all the chapter, 12 verses. Zechariah 10. Ask for rain from the Lord in the season of the spring rain, from the Lord who makes the storm clouds, who gives showers of rain to you, the vegetation in the field to everyone. For the teraphim utter nonsense, and the diviners see lies. The dreamers tell false dreams and give empty consolation. Therefore people wander like sheep. They suffer for lack of a shepherd. My anger is hot against the shepherds. I will punish the leaders. The Lord of hosts cares for his flock, the house of Judah, and will make them like his proud war horse. Out of them shall come the cornerstone, out of them the tent peg, out of them the battle bow, out of them every commander. Together they shall be like warriors in battle, trampling foe in the mud of the streets. They shall fight, for the Lord is with them. They shall put to shame the riders on horses. I will strengthen the house of Judah. I will save the house of Joseph. I will bring them back because I have compassion on them. They shall be as though I had not rejected them. For I am the Lord their God, and I will answer them. The people of Ephraim shall become like warriors. Their heart shall be glad as with wine. Their children shall see it and rejoice. Their heart shall exult in the Lord. I will signal for them and gather them in, for I have redeemed them. They shall be as numerous as they were before. Though I scattered them among the nations, yet in far countries they shall remember me. They shall rear their children and return. I will bring them home from the land of Egypt. I will gather them from Assyria. I will bring them to the land of Gilead and to Lebanon, for there is no room for them here. They shall pass through the sea of distress, and the waves of the sea shall be struck down, and all the depths of the Nile dried up. The pride of Assyria shall be laid low, and the scepter of Egypt shall depart. And I will make them strong in the Lord, and they shall walk in his name, says the Lord. I'm actually going to continue into chapter 11 because it continues this passage. Open your doors, O Lebanon, so that fire may devour your cedars. Wail, O cypress, for the cedar has fallen, for the glorious trees are ruined. Wail, O oaks of Bashan, for the thick forest has been felled. Listen to the wail of the shepherds, for their glory is despoiled. Listen, the roar of the lions, for the thickets of Jordan are destroyed. That little, that for those first three verses of chapter 11 fall into line with what we see here. Real quick, there's certain biblical words, phrases that you need to when you hear think this way. Lebanon, open your doors, O Lebanon, that your fire may develop your cedars. Okay, you've heard the phrase the cedars of Lebanon. That there's a biblical contrast. The Bible's full of contrast where you see this mountain is blessing, this mountain's curses, light and dark, things such as that. Part of what you see in um in one of these contrasts, particularly in the Old Testament, and even somewhat in the New, is the contrast between the cedars of Lebanon and the olive trees. I remember Jesus prayed at Gethsemane, which is olive trees. Olive trees are giving. They give oil. They give wood. They are humble trees. The cedars of Lebanon are proud trees. So you see, anytime you see the word Lebanon or cedars connected with Lebanon, think pride. Think how God will destroy the prideful. So just that's a really interesting biblical concept to think about when you see. Anytime you see cedars, Lebanon, think in your brain pride. This passage is also going to kind of follow up with something we're going to read tomorrow. Um, this notion of the shepherds. So, verse 2 and 3, it says, for the teraphim utter nonsense, the diviners see lies, the dreamers tell false dreams, they give empty consolation. Therefore, my people wander like sheep. They suffer for lack of a shepherd. My anger is hot against the shepherds, and I will punish the leaders. For the Lord cares for his flock, the house of Judah, and will make them his proud war horse. Um, that is, so when I was at a former church, I had a guy in my church who was one of the better Bible teachers, they're better leaders. Frankly, one of the most godly men I've ever known, who would have made a phenomenal Sunday school teacher. He had in my mind the gift and the ability to teach, but he wouldn't do it. He got saved later in life. Um, and he said, no, the Bible says teachers are doubly judged, and I don't, want to take that chance. In my life, when I was younger, I'm 48 now, and I'm not super old yet, but I tell people I'm I'm probably closer to the oh, I not probably I am. I'm closer to the end of my ministry than I am to the beginning of my ministry. I started preaching when I was took my first church when I was do the math real quick at 99, so that'd have been 23. So I've been preaching this year for, now I gotta do the math again, 25 years. Um if I won't be preaching actively, I don't anticipate. You never know what the Lord has in mind, but you know, um in 25 years from now, I'll be 70, 73. Mandatory retirement age in the UMC is 72. So, so maybe I just turned the corner towards the end of to the downside of my ministry, but I'm closer to the ending than I am to the beginning. I used to want to follow charismatic shepherds, leaders, dynamic, strategic leaders. All the folks who do the TED Talks, all the folks who are these brilliant leaders. So I wanted to follow. So I wanted to be my shepherds. I just want folks who have the fruit of the Spirit in their life at this point in my life. I no longer, when I'm looking for wisdom and counsel, look for big numbers, amazing sermons, brilliant minds. I mean, those things are good. I mean, I want to get better at preaching a sermon. I want to be better with my strategic thought. I want to be better at these things, but I look for the fruit of the Spirit. I look for love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, mercy, self-control. Where do I see these things? And that's the folks that I want to follow. That's the folks that I want to be like. That's the folks that I want to help shepherd and help lead me. And frankly, as a shepherd of my flock, that's what I want to try to develop as best I can. And I know I fail at it daily. But I want to try to live out the fruit of the Spirit. These false shepherds we see here. My people wander like sheep. They suffer for lack of a shepherd. That's a word to us who are leaders, particularly those of us who are pastors, to make sure that we are caring for our sheep first and foremost, that we are shepherding them, and we're guiding them. And the shepherd doesn't lead with a whip. He leads with a stick, with a gentle crook. Sometimes to guide them back in place. Sometimes you got the crook to maybe kind of give them a little, nudge where they need to be. The shepherd cares for the sheep. The shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. That's what Jesus is for us. He is our good shepherd, and he is the shepherd that we should emulate. He is ultimately the shepherd of his flock, the church. But in my life, at this point in my life, I just want to follow shepherds that have the fruit of the Spirit. If I see the fruit of the Spirit in your life, I'm going to listen to what you got to say. I'm going to follow you. I'm going to let you guide me. The devil's got charisma. The devil's got strategic thought. The devil doesn't have the fruit of the Spirit. So if you're in a place of responsibility for a flock, whether it be a church, whether it be a Sunday school class, whether it be a youth group, whether it be whatever, then work on the fruit of the Spirit in your life. Seek that first and foremost above all things. And then if you're looking for a shepherd, look for one that prioritizes the fruit of the Spirit above all else. Because The longer I live, the more I follow, the more I try to be like Jesus, the more I try to lead well, the more I'm going to realize it's about the fruit of the Spirit. That's it. That's what we need to be about. Anyway, all of us have a responsibility to shepherd those in our lives. So let's make sure that we are having the Spirit develop these fruit within us, that we can lead as God would have us. So tomorrow we'll continue talking about shepherds. So we'll pick up tomorrow morning with Zechariah 11, chapter 4, verse 4. Have a great day. See you in the morning.